Hey guys, in this episode, Calvis and I talk about the chapter number 11 of Think and Grow Rich called The Mystery of Sexual Transmutation. The funny thing is that we've always wanted to learn how to do this, and it actually never clicked for us until we had this conversation, so that's pretty awesome. And now we know how to do it, which is pretty trippy. Anyways, enjoy. Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Look Saigon. I'm here with Calvis. Again, we're gonna finish this book, bro. I swear to God. And we're on chapters 11 and 12, right?
Yes, that's correct.
We're getting to the chapters that me and Connor didn't get to before. This is it.
This is it.
And who knows? Maybe this whole episode will be on one chapter. I don't know. We'll just let it
Yeah,
just let it
exactly.
flow and see what happens.
Exactly. Yeah.
So chapter 11, he calls it the mystery of sex transmutation.
That's right.
What did you feel when you read this chapter?
I mean,
And also,
it's kind of
should we define the word transmutation?
so. So yeah, how would you define the word transmutation? It's it's like being an alchemist, like transferring something to something else. Like,
Yeah, right. Like the Oxford Dictionary says, transmutation is the action of changing or the state of being changed into another form.
right. So basically, the biological urge of sex, like trying to transmute towards something of something different. Like you could build some business or uh, focus on some goals or relationship. But it all starts with desire again, right? It comes back to chapter 2. By the way, guys, if you're listening to this, me and Nick, we highly suggest reading the book as well. Especially chapter 2 is super important, right? Because that's where is the 6-step process, like written down about how to quote unquote think and grow rich, right? By the way,
Hmm.
my voice is gone a little bit.
It's okay. It's okay.
I like sweat, but I'll start with that. And so you have a specific goal, etc., etc. And then this chapter 11 really talks about the sex transmutation is using this urge that we all humans have to something to just get to the next level. And then chapter 12 is the subconscious mind. And also it also starts with chapter 2 again to have like a precise goal,
Hmm.
especially if it's written down. And then already subconscious mind is going to be like, and could like kind of already know what you need, right? And can give it to you.
Hmm.
And yeah, so it's kind of interesting. So it's all linked together, all these chapters.
Yeah. Like when I think about transmutation, I think about like converting solar energy into electricity. Would that count
Exactly.
as
Exactly.
transmutation?
Yeah. 100%.
Just like
One form
taking
of energy, just
right. It's like taking a renewable source of energy and converting it into something else.
correct. Correct. Yes.
Because also, dude, like when like like he says in the chapter, right? If you don't transmute the sexual energy, then it's going to be released in some like random way, right? Like in some random way that maybe doesn't serve your like your goal or whatever. But also what I feel is like the most dangerous part of not being disciplined on this is that when you act out like impulsively the sexual urges, it decreases your desire for your actual goal.
Mm. You could get distracted, I suppose, right?
Yeah, because also your brain is like, hey, this feels good. So what's the point of even
Right.
going after the goal if I can just feel good right now?
Right. It's pretty interesting. By the way, what's going on with your poster in the background? I can see it sometimes coming up, and then maybe you could switch your. Yeah. It's respect. Sorry.
Somebody's body keeps appearing. Let me shift myself a little bit.
Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting. It also talks about, so yeah, first of all, so let's start with sex transmutation. So human mind, we respond to stimuli, right? Uh, and the greatest one is the stimuli is the urge of sex, right? And it's pretty relatable, at least to myself. I think to most people maybe listening, and like it depends. There's maybe people with higher sex drive. There's people with lower sex drive, and also in the book it's written like, you know, people who are like highly sexual are actually it's a blessing. But like back in the day when the book was written, 1937, like he was writing down that a lot of people believe it's like a quote unquote curse. You know what I mean?
Mm.
You're just like it's not a good thing, like, you know, right? But it's actually a blessing, right? And also later in the book, in the same chapter, they discuss like the most successful salesmen are the ones that can, like, they're the most sexually charged. They're like, you know, because of that, they're very magnetic, charismatic, and if they can somehow transmute that sex desire towards their sales job, like they're very likely to be very successful. And also in
Mm.
his book, he researched like 25,000 people, and he really found that most of the people that are successful had really high sex drives as well. So that was
Mm.
really like an interesting point. You know, I mean, yeah.
Also, I wonder what about people like Isaac Newton? Didn't he die a virgin?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's exceptions for sure, but I think so too. Yeah, yeah. But he's a fucking sorry. So he's a genius. He's a genius. Yeah. I mean, yeah. But there's other ways to get your thoughts to a higher consciousness of plane. They also talk about in the book the 10 mind stimuli, like how to
Mm.
elevate your normal consciousness into higher consciousness. And actually, number one, the 10 mind stimuli, the number one is actually this the desire for sex, which is very interesting. And you know, so sometimes we desire the sex, and like, and then maybe if we get it, maybe not, then like maybe we can elevate to a higher level of consciousness, and our thoughts are more, I don't know,
Mm.
imaginative, creative, maybe. uh you know, and there's also love. This is the second one
Hmm.
that can elevate our level of consciousness. Then there's burning desire for like money, fame, power. Then there's music, which definitely can help, right? Music. Also friendship, mastermind, which we talked about in a previous podcast episode, and auto suggestion. And the last two was like fear and narcotics and alcohol. And the last two are like the destructive ones that can quote unquote help you, maybe in the short term, but in the long term, like it can ruin your health and all that, like
Mm.
fear and you know, maybe even weed or alcohol, you know, booze, and especially hard drugs, you know. So yeah. So like that's why it's not surprising people crave drugs sometimes, or they crave sex. It's not necessarily bad, right? Like they want to elevate to that higher consciousness to have like cool ideas maybe in their head, and sometimes maybe they apply their ideas, but maybe sometimes they get caught up in their, as you mentioned earlier, like you don't have any control over that desire, and you get caught up on it, and yeah, you just go, yeah. And maybe you party or whatever, have fun when you're younger, but when you're older, maybe you're more mature. But yeah, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I'm just thinking like that. I hope today we can brainstorm like what kinds of activities we can transmute that energy into.
Mhm. Correct, correct. Some constructive ideas, and if you have some ideas and the audience, you also let us know, because we're also still figuring this out.
Yeah, if somebody out there already knows how to do this, like please give us some tips
Guidance.
because we're just learning this now. Like the first thing that
Yes,
comes
yes.
to my mind is what cardio, like jogging. But then
Yeah, fitness stuff,
but
definitely.
then okay, let's say if I transmuted it into jogging, I would have to give that jogging a reason, like a really strong reason for why I should even be jogging. Or else my mind will just be like, nah, I don't want to. And then it's like I have to give
Have you
the activity a really strong reason.
uh, have you seen that reel, TikTok or whatever. Whenever you get horny, just go outside and take a walk. And then
Really?
it's the video. This is like what is called the guy who always running like run Forrest run. Oh, Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump.
He has that long beard, and then he's like, and then he finally stopped running after however many days, hours, and
Mm.
it's so funny.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna try that, bro. Like, I I didn't think about like okay, like so putting my transmuting my sexual energy into an activity, but I never thought about giving the activity a strong purpose.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like running is just fitness, right? Health, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But now, like, can you convince yourself with auto suggestion that by doing that fitness activity, it's going to help you with a specific thing in your life?
I mean, definitely. Like, I mean, if you're done running, in my case, it might be swimming. Maybe like I prefer
Mm,
something like that. Like, it definitely helps to like clear your mind. It's like an active meditation, and you can be free with your thoughts. And maybe it's also one of those quote unquote 10 mind stimuli that elevate our level of
mm.
consciousness, and it can help us. And even if it doesn't, like, it's still nice. And I think
Like,
it's same with travel. Like, at least for me, travel definitely like something that helps with elevating
mm.
that thinking mind, have some new ideas, not just the same mundane ideas you always have, something else maybe in your head, you know.
Okay, I'm thinking about now of a specific situation. I'm not gonna
Okay,
say
okay.
what situation it is. I'm just gonna say that what if I can transmute the sexual energy into like a fitness exercise, and the purpose of that fitness exercise will be to prepare me for a challenging moment that I already know is coming. I know exactly what day and what time. Like,
Mm.
would that work if I can transmute my energy into jogging because I just choose to believe that that will help me with my desired outcome?
um, I guess
Because
it depends what's your outcome,
that
right?
desire outcome, like I'm not gonna say what it is. I'm just gonna say I really,
Yeah, I
really,
understand,
really
understand.
want that. I really want that. Like I would do anything except for kill people for that
Right,
outcome.
right, right. But a fire alarm is on in my building, so if you guys hear it, I apologize. But yeah, I mean, I suppose it could help. Like,
Then you would need auto suggestion for that. Then you would need to really believe, okay, if I jog, it's gonna help my mind be prepared for that challenge that I have coming up. And so now I choose to invest my sexual energy into jogging because that's relevant to my desire. This desire that is
well,
so
mm.
it's so much that I would jog.
Oh, definitely, definitely. And then in that case, like if it's relevant to your outcome or desire, then you definitely, yeah, could harness, try at least to harness that
Right? Because
energy,
I feel like
sexual energy towards
if you're harnessing that
fitness stuff.
energy, you're storing the energy, then you have to use it for something, right? You can't just store it every day and just like, well, I'm gonna store it because it's gonna help me. Like you have to do something.
Yeah, you cannot really store it, and you also cannot suppress it. I think in
Right.
the book they mentioned that you kind of can manage it for a while, but like in the long term, you have to like, yeah, you cannot just, it's like an animal. You cannot like just, yeah, control the
Then I
animal,
wonder how the
right?
monks do it. Like how do monks do they take action with monk activities? Do they do stuff like or are they just or do some of them just sit in a room for months?
I mean, it depends on what kind of monk. Like I've definitely met a monk that like 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 it's same with like these priests. Sometimes they suppress the sexual energy thing, and then it expresses in really messed up ways. And they, you know,
That could happen.
yeah. There's this one guy. I remember I was here in Vietnam. Like I went to a temple, and he was like showing me around, like burning a candle, whatever, burning some incense. I was like, okay, interesting, blah blah. We go to another room, and then he tried to like touch me or something. I'm like, what the fuck, bro? Like seriously? I was like, no, yeah. I mean, like,
Really?
jeez. I mean, I would joke, and I talked with someone else. He had similar experience. Like
Whoa.
that's what sometimes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But like, I believe most monks aren't like that. Like it was just a like, interesting example, but like it can
Yeah,
happen, right? Like
it could
the
happen.
same with like some priests and whatever. Like there's some like if you're like this sex thing is very huge and it's hard to understand it like with your conscious mind, right? As
Dang.
well. Even if you do understand it, it's still hard. That's in the book they discuss that usually people only like a man they reach their peak success or performance right after the age of 40 or even in their 50s and stuff because like when you're
Yeah.
like younger and whatever you just usually have that energy, you're at peak sexual condition, but like you express it in not so maybe constructive way, like you express it in maybe physical, but like when you
Mm-hmm.
get older maybe it comes together with love, maybe you find someone and then you're more balanced, so in nature you just become more balanced, and then you when you have your desires you are more like you're much better at achieving it, and so because love
Mm.
emotion is much more fundamental and much more constructive and helps you even more. Even in a book that I described, even if you think about your past love experiences, like even just the thought of those past memories of love is like very like heartwarming, and it can also
True.
be one of those quote unquote mind stimuli that elevate your level
Yeah,
of thinking. So
that's true.
that's kind of interesting, and it's true, right? So yeah, especially if you could combine sex with love, I guess that's ideal. But like, yeah,
Huh.
right,
Now that I just thought of, yeah, you're right. Like thinking about the past can trigger some emotions, right?
right, 100%.
So now imagine thinking about the future, but you're thinking about what you want to happen. And then it should
Exactly.
also trigger some emotions, right? Because
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they're both visualization, just one is in reverse and one is like in the future.
Mm.
But they're still both visualizations.
Mm.
So I need to visualize myself transmuting this energy into jogging. I'm gonna try that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna imagine
just
myself
go.
just jogging and just like having some like infrared glasses that can see like the energy actually just like
Nice,
charging,
nice.
just charging up like
Right, right.
I think we got to do something like that because I don't know how else. It's like you can't see the energy on you, so like how do you know how much you have? How do you know if it's even working? Like I'm just gonna straight up just visualize it then so it feels like it's happening.
Right. Right. But in order, yeah, to harness that energy, yeah, you have to have desire, right? So again, from chapter two. So
Yeah, there has to
what's your
be a
goal?
there has to be a
Yeah,
reason for doing it.
yeah, reason why. Yeah.
If the reason
What
is
do you
not
want?
strong,
Write it
then
down too. Write it down too.
yeah. All right, good, good. I'm glad we had this conversation because like I've been reading this book for I mean on and off like for a few years. And I was always just so confused about this chapter. I just didn't know. I was like, okay, he talks about it a lot, but it doesn't really say like the steps on how to do it. Like, but I guess we all have to
Right.
figure out our own way, I guess.
That's why the name of the chapter is Mystery
The
of Sex
mystery.
Transmutation. It's a mystery you cannot really explain, right? A mystery. You
Right.
kind of have to, yeah, just figure it out yourself, I guess, with the help of mastermind and
Yeah.
uh,
Because there's also,
yeah.
I feel like there's something in this book that's missing about desire. And it's that, yeah, you need to know what you want and you need a very strong desire for it. And at the same time, you have to be you have to feel totally sure that if for X reason the desire doesn't come true,
Mm.
you will still be okay.
Right. 100%, 100%.
So then you choose the
I think
desire and then you let it go, right?
mm, right. I think we discussed this like just a messenger or whatever. Like you were talking about one of the chapters they should include in the book is the I guess freedom from outcome, something like that.
Yes, yes.
Like not being like, oh, there's desire, so I must have it, and then there's this chapter of faith, and etc., etc. But like, if you really, 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 really want something too much, like sometimes like it's just not gonna happen, right? Like it's same if you like chase a
Yeah.
girl, pretty much. Like you really want this girl, like you really go for you, like text her this, like, oh, how was your day, blah blah blah, you're this and that, you're very, very, very invested. And for her, it's like creepy, right? It's like, bro, like, dude, like relax, like I'm just a
Mm-mm.
girl. Why would you put me on this, you know, higher standard? Whatever. Like I'm just a normal woman, normal human. Like what the hell, man? And it's same sometimes with your goals, right? It's like you still need the desire, right? But like have the freedom of outcome, which is
Yeah, I guess like when you, I just thought about that now that you said that. Like, if somebody is like investing like yeah so much time and energy, like, hey, how are you? How is it? Blah blah blah, blah. Like, it's because they're like they're they're trying to get something, right? And because they're trying to get something, that means that they're coming from a lack. And then that girl or guy, whatever, is going to see that like this dude is
yeah,
coming, like this person doesn't really like believe in themselves. Like,
yeah. Comes out as needy
and in
and
in this chapter, the yeah, he mentions like, yeah, like attracting like your financial riches is so similar to wooing your sweetheart, right? Didn't he say that?
I suppose. Yeah. In the earlier chapters or in this chapter?
No, in chapter 11, or maybe like in the audiobook because it's like maybe it's like a new
Uh,
edition, but he mentions like, yeah, like
yeah.
getting the money
New
you
edition.
want is similar. It's like the same way that you use to yeah, to attract the woman that
Right,
you love is the same way that
I
you
believe.
attract the money that you want.
Mm,
And also he
yeah.
mentions one of the emotions that can block us from achieving our goal is fear, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
So that it makes sense that releasing expectation from that outcome will decrease your fear, because when you get so attached to like, oh my god, I hope this happens, this better happen for me, then your fear of losing that begins to increase.
Oh yeah. 100%. And in the next chapter, the subconscious mind also talked about like positive and negative like thoughts or emotions. And one single negative like thought, emotion thing could destroy all the positive things you have going
It's true, man.
in your life. So you have a little bit of doubt or fear, like it can sometimes destroy your success, whatever.
It's like a
Really,
little, it's like a little virus.
which is all right. Like we all have
It's okay,
bad
yeah.
thoughts, right? But like, just try to have more positive thoughts than negative, I suppose.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta share something with you that I realized recently, and that is that my mind, I don't know if this is everybody, right? But my mind enjoys some bad habits that it has, right? And it knows that I will agree to partake in these bad habits if I've had like a bad day or a stressful day, or right? So then what my
Mm,
mind does is that
mm.
it looks for reasons to be stressed or annoyed throughout the day.
Wow,
So
wow,
then later I'll feel like, dang, I'm pretty stressed out. Hey, let's go do that thing. That just totally like mind fucked me, bro.
wow.
I was, it's like, you know, in Jurassic Park, when the guy's in the forest hunting the Velociraptor, he's trying to get her, but she's actually hiding right next to him. And then he's like, clever girl. Bitch, and then it eats her. I feel like that guy, like, clever girl. That's awesome.
Uh, I definitely have the same thing. I don't have that. I have fine excuses about stressful. It's just a stupid habit. Like sometimes I have something, I just do it, and like, and then there's like days or whatever weeks maybe I'm better at it, and I maybe like replace the habit with something else. But yeah, something again happens. Uh, in my case, it might be some annoying thing, whatever. Like you're having a normal day, as we discussed earlier, like in the chapter 12, like
Mm.
it's all like blending together this chapter 11, 12 thing. But like, uh, so in subconscious mind, like you either have positive or negative thought. You kind of have just one. No, like you kind of have both, right? So
Mm.
sometimes you're just having a normal day, everything, and then something a little bit of annoying happens, maybe whatever, like in my case, and it's like, oh, you're just like boom, and you feel like I don't know, terrible, I guess, and you just want to like do whatever bad habit you
Mm.
want
Mm.
to do, like to feel maybe better, and maybe you feel better after, but then you feel like, oh, damn, I did this stupid thing again, wasted my time, whatever. So
Yeah. So like the skill I'm learning right now is to catch my mind as early as possible when it starts to look for reasons why I should be annoyed. I just try my like
mm,
I just started like a few days ago, so I'm not too good at that skill yet. But I'm trying to, yeah, I'm practicing it.
right. I
I
think in the
feel like,
book Power of Habit, they
mm,
sorry.
no, no, go ahead.
Have you read it?
I've read only parts of it, man. So I think now we have to discuss that one pretty soon.
Yeah, probably. I read it very long time ago. But a similar book, Atomic Habits. That's also an interesting book. We probably
Yeah.
discuss. But yeah, they talk about the habits. You have cue, routine, and then the
Yeah.
action. I guess right. So you don't have to change your so habit. Most people when they want to quit habit, like quit smoking, whatever, they're gonna quit the action instead of cue. You know, and the result is the feeling that you get in the end. But you should change, I guess, the cue. Right? Is that right? Oh
Dang.
wait. Oh no, no, it's the process you should change, I guess. So the cue still comes, you have a feeling. So instead of like taking that cigarette or whatever it is for you, like you should, I don't know, get a cookie, like go eat a cookie or something.
You can try
And then
that.
you get a
You can try that.
result, and then I guess yeah, yeah. So you don't change your cue, sorry, like it's actually out of your like like reach to change it, like it's gonna come anyway. It's a habit, right? But like you change your routine. But yeah, anyway.
Mm. I love the part in Atomic Habits where he talks about your identity will form your habits. Like whatever you identify as, your habits will match that. So if you say like, yeah,
Mm,
I'm somebody who's not a morning person, so I just can't get up
mm.
early, and then that just becomes your reality until it's
Right.
challenged.
Or he talked about in the book also, like if you're trying to quit smoking, for example. So there's two type of people. There's one who's like, oh, someone offers you a cigarette at a party or whatever, you would be like, yeah, I'm trying to quit, whatever. Like sooner or later you're gonna give in, right? But if you just say, oh, I'm not a smoker instead, like, yeah, you're
Mm-mm.
just not a smoker, so you
Right.
shouldn't smoke.
You identify as
So
I'm not a
like
smoker.
your identity. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Anyway, let's come back to the book, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, written in 1937. Some deep stuff. So again, chapter 11, sex transmutation. So he also talked about in the book that, most successful people are like highly sex drive. So if you're highly sex drive, listening to this, like, don't feel bad about it. It's actually a good thing, right? And even if you haven't achieved like quote unquote like enormous success yet, don't worry as well. Like most people, most men don't achieve it until well in their 40s, even 50s, or close to their 60s possibly. And they also discussed in the book that the best salespeople are like I think I mentioned this, but yeah, the best salespeople are the highly sex drive people, right? And this energy can be communicated like in other like many ways, like the handshake, tone of
Mm.
voice, the posture, the way
Yeah.
they carry their body, vibrations of thought,
Like
and
eye contact.
high contact, 100%. And highly sexed people mix the emotion of sex with their thoughts, and they may influence others around them, which is interesting. And also, they care about how they look, about their body, so that
Hmm.
can help a lot. You know what I mean? Yeah. When you're presenting yourself to potential like job interviews or sales prospects, and et cetera, et cetera, always helps to have that quote unquote magnetism. So yeah,
True, man.
yeah.
Should
But
we go
again, if
into?
you're like,
Oh, yeah, tell me.
yeah, sorry. But again, if you're like a sex mad man, uh, it says a sex mad man is not essentially different than a dope mad
Dude, when I think about that, I think about, so like in ancient Rome, the emperor was Marcus Aurelius, right?
I think I heard of
And he's like known as like
smart guy.
one of like the best emperors in the history of ancient Rome. Okay, but the thing is, after he died, his son Commodus takes over the empire as emperor,
What was
and
his name? The Octa was sorry, what's his name?
Commodus.
Assistant Kamada, sorry, yeah.
And it's funny because in Spanish the word cómodo means comfortable, and Commodus was the guy that, if I'm not mistaken, he spent his new royal power to just bang hookers every day. And then that was the downfall of the entire empire because of that dude. Wait, have you seen Gladiator?
I watched it when I was a kid, yeah.
Dude, the evil emperor that watches the dudes fight in the Colosseum, that was Commodus. It was Joaquin Phoenix in that movie.
Did he live long or no?
I think those guys, after they lose the throne, somebody murders them. I think that's how it is, or how it was back then.
Yeah, that's how it is. I mean, even these days, it's still relevant.
I think
Yeah,
so.
I guess some places at least, not in the democratic places in the world, but
Right,
there's
yeah,
a
right. In those days,
places.
in ancient Rome, just like the next heir in the family would get the throne, right? So it just had to be that guy.
He
But
just
at least,
decided to act on the energy. Yeah,
yeah,
right.
at least now we know that, okay, that confirms what they're saying, that if you just splurge on that, it's gonna
Mm,
mess things up.
yeah, yeah. They also mentioned in the book that most people can realize that like too much like narcotics or alcohol, something like that, is
Right.
not good for you. But most people don't realize that the excessive sex also may not be like good. Like
That's actually a really good insight.
so.
That goes back to like some kind of caveman thinking, if you think about it. Because
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah, well,
because
hundred
wouldn't the caveman feel like, hey, like
percent.
I might not live very long, so I might as well just do it as much as I
Might as
possibly
well,
can. I'm gonna probably get
right,
eaten
hundred
by a
percent.
tiger or some shit.
Yeah, yeah, the life expectancy like back
Damn.
even 100 something years ago was only like 31 years old or something. But it's
Right.
because most the like it's a lot of infant mortality stuff or whatever. So like if you reach the age of 20, 30, you're probably gonna live like 50 something, but that's about it.
Right.
So but with the modern medicine, technology, everything, like yeah,
Oh,
our
dude, we're getting
life
into
expectancy has
a really good
increased.
topic right now, which is life expectancy. Wait, right now you are 30, right?
All right. I'm 30, yes, yes, yes.
Dude, guess how old Bruce Lee was when
30,
when
30.
he died?
He was 32, if I'm
He
not
was
mistaken.
32. Yeah,
Right?
I'm 33 right now.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? You're older than when you died, right? It's
I'm
crazy.
older than Bruce Lee than when he died. And also what
Bruce Lee is
I've decided I'm going like the year I'm aiming to die at is 2086. So then
2086, right?
when if I live that long, I'll be 96. I was gonna choose to die at 69, but I was like, that's too early. So like I'll just change it to 96.
2086. Wait. 20... Yeah, 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 you're right. 96.
Yeah. I was gonna say like just to be funny, I should die at 69, but I was like, dude, that's too young. Let's just make it
That's too
96.
young. Yeah,
Make
you
it
can still have like you can still have fun when you're 69. You can take Viagra. Yeah, I'm just kidding.
you can still do 69 when you're 69.
You should. You should aim for it. Have a desire. That's funny, dude.
But so like when you think about what year you're gonna die, right? You know exactly what year you're gonna die, and every day that goes by, you see it's getting closer and closer and closer. So then it makes you decide more quickly, like, okay, how do I want to spend the remaining time? Because it's not gonna be forever. And then
Right.
when you ask that question, somewhere in there, that enormous desire thing will just pop up randomly one day. It's gonna show up. It's like, hey, before you die, or yeah, you should experience this thing in your lifetime, or else you really fucked up.
That's how you're usually better, like at least in my case, I'm better when there's a deadline and I have to do something like
Oh,
submit
for
a
everybody.
chapter
Yeah.
for everybody. Like you, like for me, I need everything in the last moment. Like I'm really, really productive. So that's why it's good to also understand that, yeah, there's a deadline for your life as well, I guess, suppose.
True.
Like, but you never know when, which is like, yeah, makes it
Like
interesting, I suppose.
like everybody who's
You
a
know,
teacher is probably doing like tests and test marking right now and like hitting all these deadlines for this month specifically.
yeah.
So like when you have a deadline, you get the thing done on the deadline.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So now it's like, yeah,
100%.
you're right. Your life has a deadline. We don't know
Mm,
exactly when it is, but I'm gonna just choose the year that I just okay, it's probably gonna be that year. Just I'm just saying that, right? So then every day that goes by, every month that goes by, you feel it. You're like, oh, it's 1 month closer. So
you
am I
feel that
am
sense of
am I
urgency.
living the way that I want to? And then that desire will appear like, okay, so what is it then? How do I want to spend my remaining time? And then boom, something will come up when you're like taking a
Right.
dump or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Also in a book they mention, again, it's coming back. They mentioned in this chapter 11, sex transmutation, and in other chapters earlier, that there's four ways you can, I guess, get some ideas, new ideas, hunches, quote unquote hunches. So real quick, let me see. Oh shit, sorry.
I know what
Yeah,
you're
so number one is so uh, basically in essence, sorry. One is like from your own like conscious mind thinking some
saying.
things that you already know. Number two is the infinite intelligence, right? Things that just pop up maybe in your dreams or something.
Mm,
And how to get there, like, yeah, maybe you could stimulate your mind with sex or with drugs, which is destructive, or music, or the desire for fame, power, yeah, etc., etc.
mm,
And then the number three and four is the same thing, it's just other people. So number three is conscious thoughts from other people, or picture ideas from other people, and also subconscious thinking or ideas from other people as well. So that's the
mm,
four ways we can get these quote unquote creative things. And it's kind of cool to quote unquote access that infinite intelligence somehow and try to
mm.
gain ideas from that and get there in a constructive ways instead of like just smoking a joint and being like, I mean,
Ah,
okay,
true.
maybe it's good for short term, right? But like long term, what's the end game, right? And maybe it's music or just friendship, right? With the like, you know,
Dude.
even with opposite sex, just friendship or
Yeah.
just friendship with like whoever or mastermind, auto
Yeah.
suggestion again, uh, love. That's one of the biggest ones. And sex is the biggest one. That's the one that can really inspire, to
Dude,
be
what really
honest.
comes to mind right now, I'm thinking about faith because let's say you have this enormous desire, like let's just say like okay, you've chosen when to die in like whatever, like when you're like 90 or something, you've chosen the year, okay? Then finally you realize what you want. Then the next thing is do you have faith that you can make that happen? Because if not,
Right,
the desire will just die.
right. I guess you also just do it in small steps, right? Like you probably don't just think about like, oh, where I want to be at age 90, or you probably think about next year, 2 years, 5 years, right? And yeah, that's about it. Because like you never know, right? You never
Hmm.
know what can happen. Like,
Maybe
yeah, I
I'll
had a friend.
yeah, tell me.
Sorry, yeah. No, I had a friend. He was like really, really smart. Like we shared good ideas together, like a mastermind as well, and we did cool stuff together. And yeah, just one day he died. Like he was only like 19 at the time or 20. He was really young. He inspired me to do some cool things, and he was
Hmm.
very like I think very like positive, conscious oriented, and
Hmm.
he said like, oh, all the kids. He went to like the best school in my country, and he said all the kids there like just wanted to party, blah blah blah, just have fun at age 19, 18. But you know, and he was like, he was watching this really cool course about how to achieve these things, whatever. He said basically everything planned out until he was 40, but yeah, a
Hmm.
car hit him basically, and just yeah. So you never
Dang.
know, you
True.
never fucking know.
At least he went for it,
Yeah,
dude.
so,
I'm sure he really enjoyed going for it.
so
All right, so we're talking about your
yeah.
friend, right? Like at least
Mm.
before he ended this chapter, like at least he knew like, okay, I know what I want to do. I'm gonna go for it. Even just starting that journey, it feels so nice, man.
Yeah, and it's inspiring also. He
Yeah.
was definitely inspiring too. So yeah, even though he's not here anymore, and but yeah, so you never know, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you don't take anything for granted. So you know,
Yeah,
yeah, that's why you have your desires and just go for it. But then sometimes, yeah, it's tough, right? You have your desire, maybe you want to like
dude.
this amount of money, or you want to achieve this, or you want to help this many people, you want to travel here, you want to do this and that. But then sometimes, yeah, as we mentioned earlier, like it may be like, oh, you just get lost in like, I don't know, like you just chase, I don't know, sex, or you chase like, I don't know, maybe weed, whatever it is, or you
Mm,
chase like some destructive things that can like destroy your life, honestly. Right? So,
yeah.
yeah,
It's like
so you have to find out.
thinking about your friend, it does remind me of the thing of like choosing your deadline of your life. But now like your friend is showing us that okay,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you can choose a deadline, but also you don't actually know when it might be. It could be
Yeah.
it could be any random time. So then that even more reason now like okay, I don't know how much time I have left. What should I be doing right now?
Some deep stuff. A quote just came in my head, like I think from Osho, right? You know
Mm,
Osho, right? One of his books, or maybe it was not a book. It's just one of the things he said, which was written in a book. There's a book, I guess, the things that he said, which is really nice. You can just read it; just makes sense because he just talks so slowly and
mm.
yeah. But he basically said that uh, we we are born because of sex, and then we die because of sex, right? I mean, it's kind of true, right? Because you're born into this world because of sex, and then whatever happens in your world, it's actually also driven by sex, a lot of it, right? And then you die because of sex, because that's where it all started, right? You know, that's just life. That's
But
why
how
these
do you
desires just
but how do you
go.
die into
Yeah.
sex though? So I'm trying to get how do you die into sex?
So you, I guess the quote again was, "You're born because of sex, and you die because of sex," right? So let me see if that's the exact quote.
Well, I know humans are one of those animals that are when they're being created in the womb, they're created with their butthole first. That's the true black hole.
Oh wait, I don't know. You are born of sex, and you will die of sex. Exhausted. Your birth is the birth of sex, and your death is the death of sex. Huh? That's a bitch.
So like you're born because somebody banged, and then when you die, you can't bang. Is that it?
Well, it's just the end of sex. Like the start of the sex, the birth of the sex was birth. No, your birth is the birth of sex. You
I mean,
die, and it was the death of sex. That's finished.
it sounds like he's trying to say like enjoy it while it lasts. Enjoy. I think he's trying to say that.
Uh I would think. I mean, yeah, maybe. But no. I don't think so. I don't think he's a hedonistic type, and they didn't use like drugs and stuff like that in his retreats. They would use natural methods to
Mm.
elevate their like level of thinking, like some meditations, breathing exercises, stuff like that. You are
Maybe he's saying
born.
like enjoy responsibly, but everyone has their own definition of what responsibly is. I don't know.
Right. It actually says that. So the moment you feel sexual energy is waning, know that death is coming near. And he says 35 is the peak age. So it's kind of good for us. I'm 30 or 33. And Napoleon Hill in his book said that 40 is kind of like when people, like when men discover their full potential. So sex energy is at the peak and everything declines. Then one begins to be old. And 70 will be the death age or something. I mean, yeah,
Hmm.
it's back in the day. Like now it's maybe 80. Like at 70, you could still be in good shape, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And you
why
can
not?
still have Viagra, right, too. So yeah. This works.
Wait, so who was saying the thing about at 35 is the peak and then 40 is when
Osho.
okay. And the thing about like people reaching their peak at when they're 40, I wonder if just like
Oh,
when men are younger than 40, their sexual energy is so high that they just can't like manipulate it yet, right? Like transmute it. But
wait, say
then
that
when
again. Say that again.
it's
Sorry.
I wonder if like when men are younger than 40, they just have so much like sexual energy that they have it's hard for them to like transmute it and like direct it how they want it. And then
That's
when they're 40, maybe
Mhm.
their sexual energy has just decreased to a level where they can, oh hey, I can play with it now because
right. And
their drive has fallen.
it's also more balanced. Like in the book Napoleon Hill, like just a little bit more balance, and the emotion of love comes more, and then you can maybe mix it together, and it
Mm,
like becomes a lot more constructive. But I just read something real quick from this Osho thing again. It's really interesting, like
mm.
really deep. It says, not only in this body, not only is this body run by sex, but all your bodies in continuity are run by sexual desire.
Like our bodies naturally want to procreate.
Yeah, yeah,
Of course, yeah, it's biological for sure. So, but then
yeah.
why is he saying these things? Like, what's his purpose of saying these things? To not
Ah,
feel
like not.
ashamed. It's like to not feel
Yeah,
shame.
I suppose, because like in society, especially back in the day, but even nowadays, like sex has always been repressed, like in religion and other things, and like even for me, like growing up, whatever, like nobody ever talked about that stuff,
Mm,
right? Like
right.
my parents didn't talk about this. Like my, I don't know, maybe friends, sure, like, but we don't know anything about sex because right, we're not experienced, all right? And then of course is the internet, and like you can find so many things, but it can lead to whatever, like just weird websites. Maybe you was there, not really, but just stuff. but yeah, it's just uh yeah. So I think it's all right to like talk about it. Just like
Yeah,
yeah,
like there's no shame about it, right? Okay, great. There's no shame. Also, how do I transmute it?
right.
That's
Exactly, and
that,
also how to
yeah.
transmute it because it's like it's a secret. I guess it can really help you, you
Yeah,
know.
it's like use
So
it. Yeah, like don't suppress it. Like don't try to shame it away because it's not gonna work. It's like holding in your fart. Like just let it come, just let it
let it come.
appear and then use it. Transmute the hell out of it. That's what I'm trying to do, bro. I'm trying my
At
best.
least try it.
Actually,
Like
dude,
I
I
mean,
put my I was about to go running right now before
awesome, bro.
for real.
I wanna
Yeah,
like digitally fist bump you. I'm gonna fist bump you. That's awesome, bro. Let's go for it.
let's do it, bro. I'm ready as hell. Any final words?
Awesome,
Because
awesome.
I'm gonna go run for real.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, so I think what we discussed already, I think the 10th mind stimuli is very interesting. So how to get to that higher thinking uh, is, yeah, it's basically sex is number one actually on the list. And number two is
Mm,
love, etc., like desire for money, fame, music, friendship between people, mastermind, and also drugs and alcohol and fear, which is like the destructive ones.
mm.
Uh, but I would say, yeah, like it's okay if you're like craving sex, or maybe it's weed or whatever it is, right? Like you just have to try to like be like control it in a constructive way, like that it can lead to your desired outcome, right? And it starts again with your desire, like write down your goal, and then to elevate your thinking, maybe instead of just sex, think about love more. And if you don't find love right at this moment, just think about past moments. Like it can help you listen to music, stuff like that. And uh, yeah, it all starts basically with the desire anyway. So yeah, but you definitely, yeah, we all need to elevate our thoughts to be more creative, I guess. And
Yeah, and
just
just try our best to catch ourself when our mind is trying to bring us down. Just try our best, even though it's like it's challenging, but just try your best because it gets easier every day you do it.
right, right, right. It's like a habit.
Yeah, it's like it's like a
So
skill, like a skill we can all learn.
right. But it could be difficult for sure. Like, yeah, because mine it just can run like a rat on a wheel. I just
And
like,
every
let's
time
go,
you see how it functions, there's like another
Mm,
function behind that that is still like it could be
mm.
that you could be unaware of it. You catch that one, and then there's just like another thing. Like it's but it's fun though.
Right,
It's
right,
fun to
right.
do this because it's actually helpful. It's actually healthy for you to keep like
100%.
keep shining that light of awareness into your mind. It's like, oh, I got you, I got you, and just watch how how things just shift.
Mm, mm, mm.
Like
Right.
your
Adding more
experience of
awareness.
reality will shift, and
Mm,
it's a shift that you will be happy is happening.
mm. Right.
Or then, but also some shifts can be like a metamorphosis phase where like imagine like the caterpillar goes into the cocoon, right? And in the cocoon, the caterpillar's body is just like it's losing his entire body, and then when the cocoon opens, it's a completely different insect. Like sometimes the old you has to die if you want
Right.
if
Your
you want
ego has to die, maybe sometimes, right?
sure, or even
Ego,
like
quote unquote, ego death.
or you could even say like your current ego has to die and you have to create a new one that is capable of doing the things you want.
Right. But it's painful. How do you do
It's
that?
painful to die in your mind.
Mhm.
But it can also be a habit. It can also be a skill, just continuously die.
Right.
Because
Because it probably feel like real death, right? Because that old self probably feels like you, right? And if it's not you
exactly
anymore, the hell are you, right? Like it feels scary, right?
right. This is
That's why
why
change is difficult.
this is why I made this podcast, because there is a pattern between this and spirituality. It's like, okay, so like I'm not my ego anymore. So who am I? Should I make a new ego?
Right.
Should I just be nothing, like a monk? Right? Should I just be straight up consciousness, or can I just change my name and now my name is Jiminy Cricket? I'm from Idaho or something, like I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's always learning in progress, I guess.
And this matches Atomic Habits. Choose your identity, and then your new habits will follow. It's like, okay, so if I can choose my identity, then who the fuck am I?
Mhm. Who is Nick? I remember you asked me that 2 years ago when we
Um,
worked together in a company.
I mean, who is Nick? I guess
Yeah.
Nick is my nervous system, right? Like, basically, Nick is my nervous system.
Your cells in your body, like you have like a trillion cells in your body, right?
Mm-mm.
Stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, and
Yeah.
shout out to David P. He reminded me that like even all the stuff in your body, like carbon and iron, all these different like minerals and stuff, like they're created after the supernova of a star. So even
Mm,
physically, we are connected to other bodies of mass in the universe.
yeah,
Like
that's true.
physically, we're not talking about oh spiritually or like or my soul. Like nah, dude, like the iron in my blood, bro. Like literal
Yes.
stuff in my body.
Yeah, that's insane. We all come from the same source. Yeah,
Yeah, just the fact that there's life on this planet is super trippy.
it
Just the
is trippy.
fact that
It is.
it was just like a what like a sleeping seed, and then
Mm.
at some point things just start to come out of it, and they're trying to survive.
Survive
And
and reproduce, right? That's
and
like
and now here we
what
are.
organisms
And
like.
and
Yeah,
now
yeah,
we are the most updated animal in nature. We're like the iPhone 15 Pro Max of nature.
right. But with all the old, like, you know, um,
And how does
habits from
the
our
I just
ancestors.
imagine how does this human species evolve to the next one? It's just the ones that can really observe their mind. So they're not controlled by like all these past conditionings and stuff. Those dudes
Right.
will be like the future.
Yes, dudes and gals. Yeah,
Hopefully we get that
that's our
far.
future.
Hopefully we don't blow ourselves up before that future becomes a reality.
Hopefully, it's not guaranteed. But yeah, we should just live in
Even
peace.
more
Let's
reason.
say, although like that peace never like happens, but
Right.
like try for it and yeah, just better ourselves, better our communities, friends, and
That's true.
have good people around, and just try help one another and and like have your desires, but also have it contribute to other people too. Because
Yeah.
if you're just quote unquote greedy, selfish, like it's not gonna, yeah,
Yeah.
be great, I guess. Yeah,
It's like imagine like you love being alive so much. Like, oh, this is awesome. I want the next generation after me to also have a good time. So I'm gonna keep it nice. Right? Like
yeah, yeah.
that would be fun to do. Like if you have that thinking, but then if you don't, then I think about like ancient Egyptians that they would take their gold into their pyramids to right to be buried next to their gold so they'll have it in the next life.
Yeah. I mean, doesn't really
I
work
really
like that,
wonder
but
like,
it's
yo, who started that rumor that if you take a nap with your gold, you're gonna have it in your next life. I wonder who made that up. Like, yo, that's a real thing.
yeah, I don't know. Go figure. Ancient Egyptians. Uh, but yeah, anything else?
It's like every human generation has had the same problems just in their own context of those places and those times. It's been just a
Right.
really long human struggle.
I mean, really lucky to like live in this time of the like
Yeah,
period of time, right? Like, it's been a lot like worse places to be born back in history, and
true.
even this book was written like almost 100 years ago. I was just thinking, like, imagine if you could read this book like in the 1800s somehow. Like, if you could get your hands
Mm,
on this book, it would be so freaking beneficial. But yeah, I mean, if you really read it and really apply it, like really like just makes sense. So
mm.
yeah. So
Yeah,
for
right,
the audience who
because
haven't read it yet, yeah, please, you can just get it online PDF version as well, and especially start with chapter two. Chapter one is just intro. It's all right. Chapter two is the most important one, I think, right? And then this chapter, section transmutation, was like a really fun one too. Like, and there's many interesting chapters. So
yeah, yeah. I love the one about infinite intelligence. I think we haven't got there yet, right? That's gonna be
infinite
so helpful.
intelligence. Is it gonna be the next one, right? Like 13, 14,
It
15,
might
right?
be. It might be. That's gonna be super helpful. You'll see.
Yeah. Oh, let me check real quick. Actually, I'm here. Yeah. Chapter 13 is the brain. Chapter 14 is the sixth sense, and then
Mm,
chapter 15 is six ghosts of fear. So I guess it's the sixth sense, right? That's the quote unquote
okay. Okay, cool.
intelligence. I guess that's
That
gonna
must
be.
be it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Exactly. So, phew, it's very,
That's,
very nice.
I wonder, like a sixth sense, like a sense is something you use to be aware of something, right? Like your eyes are aware of whatever physical
Right,
objects visually, your ears are aware of sound waves. If you
right,
chop off your ears and you just can't hear sound anymore or whatever. Okay, but like,
right.
how am I aware of my thoughts? How am I doing that? I'm not using my nose or my ears. Like it's something else, right? Like it's hard to explain.
Well, sometimes you're not aware of it. Like a lot of
Sometimes
times,
you're
right?
not. Yeah.
So sixth sense,
Oh, the
right?
sixth sense. Yeah. If you use your nose to smell aromas, what do you use to hear your thoughts?
Ah, I like this question. Yeah, I guess your mind or what?
Something. It's like, but you're observing your mind,
Uh,
right? So how did you observe your
right. So
mind?
your conscious, your light, your consciousness, whatever. It's so
Nice.
tricky just to think about it. Just that's why Osho and like Eckhart Tolle and all these spiritual leaders, they talk about uh I guess observing your mind, like
Dude, yeah, I love
being
how
aware of your
Osho,
mind, just looking from above.
right. Like Osho said this. Osho said that now, just for everyone listening, I don't actually follow like everything Osho says, but when somebody is speaking like something that let's say is like it makes sense that this is it just makes sense.
It does
You should check
it
it
makes
out.
sense a
You
lot.
should check it out. Yeah. Even if you don't
100%.
like that person personally. But anyways, like Osho, one thing he said was like your mind, like what if your mind is just a bunch of overlapping thoughts?
Mm.
It's just nonstop
I mean, it
thinking.
is, you know.
and the
Yeah, I mean it is.
right, and the thing
Right.
is, the thinking has labeled itself as the mind.
But it's not the mind, right? Like same, like I could tell you the same. Most people identify with that as part of their mind, but it's just one small part of the mind, right? If you
And
kind of at least try to become aware, like yeah, you can get to the next level, I guess. Yeah, what sorry, what were you
the
saying?
thing is, like, most of the time when somebody says like, oh, like they're talking about, oh yeah, like my mind, usually their mind is saying that.
Mm. Wait, say that again. My mind, what? Oh yeah, my mind. So
Sometimes your mind will say, oh yeah, my mind, like my mind will talk about the mind as if it's someone else, but it was the mind saying that. It happens sometimes. Because look, where does the ego exist? Like we already said, okay, so like we are observing the mind, right? So I'm not my mind. I'm the thing that's observing the mind, whatever the hell that is. Where does the ego exist?
ego.
Within the mind or outside the mind?
I guess within the confines of mind, right?
It must be because it's
I mean, the ego
created.
is like a
It
normal thing, right? Like we actually need the ego to
sure, sure, yeah.
survive and thrive in this world, right? But if you get identified with your ego, like we're
Yeah.
like, oh, I should be like this and this and this and this. I should have this much and this one. Like it's probably not necessarily good, right? Like
Like
it
in
doesn't
in
really
my in
work
my
like that.
definition of ego right now, like just ego is just whoever you think you are. Yeah, just whoever you think
Or
you are.
who you want to be, or who you like act to be, possibly, right? Your ego.
Yeah, just like some people will say that just whoever is doing the wanting. Like they'll say that's my ego. My ego is wanting something, and that's not me. I'm the one observing the wanting. Hi, cat.
Oh, it's cute. Is that Goggins or is
That's
it someone else?
Goggins. Yeah, that's Goggins.
Goggins.
Goggins is
Nice.
so
Stay
aggressive.
Goggins. That's amazing. That's a lovely pussycat.
All right, man. I think it's time for me to go do this.
Okay, Nick, have fun.
Thanks, bro. See you
And
later.
yeah, let's learn more and like yeah, you guys, if you have some ideas about how to transmute the sexual energy, we would really want to know as well. So please
Yeah.
let us know in the comment section if you have some good ideas.
And the thing that I'm experimenting with right now is to connect the new habit with something that will be useful for me in regards to having my dream life.
Mm-hmm.
So then I'm gonna go run right now.
Nice. I like it. It all starts with the baby steps. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, baby steps are totally okay, and you can reward yourself for them, which is awesome.
exactly. All right, brother. Well,
All right,
enjoy
guys.
your run. I'll see you
Peace.
soon. Yeah.
See you, man. Take
Peace.
care.